All right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Chronicles of a Virgo podcast. And as usual, I'm your favorite Virgo host, Shakita Johnson. And today we are joined by our lovely Virgo best friend. She is making her grand entrance into season three. My best friend, Jessica. What's up, girl?
Hey everybody, how y'all doing? What's going
Hey,
on?
sis had to come through, I mean, she's gonna be on this season anyway, but this episode, I wanted to wrap up 2023, and I was like, let me bring in my good sis so we can have a conversation about this year. Honestly, because I don't know, for some people, it was a lot. I don't know, Jessica might have, a different perspective about how her year was. But needless to say, welcome back, sis.
Say thanks for having me.
Of course. All right. So before we jump into our conversation, we are going to kick things off with our lovely mental health check. So, on a scale of 1 to 5, what is your mental health today? How are you feeling?
I would say about a 4.5. Like in a general sense, I feel all right. I'm just tired. I feel like I've just been really tired recently, and I can't really pinpoint why. So I don't know, but I'm good.
Yeah, I thought I was the only one that slept through most of the day on Christmas, but I was on Twitter a little bit and everybody was talking about the fact that they were tired and stuff. I'm like, okay, I'm not the only one. But yeah, I definitely understand. Like, I guess it's maybe us getting to the end of the week or something. But I'm glad your spirits are high and you're feeling good. So that's always good. Um, I don't think I can sugarcoat how I'm feeling. I'm gonna be real. Let me just say this. I am always my real self when I record, whether I am by myself or I am with guests, my best friends, whomever. I am always honest. Sometimes probably a little too honest. So I cannot hide my emotions or anything. So with that being said, my mental health today is probably it's probably like a 2.5. And I know some people out there are probably listening, like, what? Because like so far this season, I've been 4.5, 5 in it, 4.5, 5 in it, or whatever. But yeah, end of the year, I'm your girl was 2.5 in it. I'm not okay. And I have not been okay for it's been like what, a couple weeks now. Um, Unfortunately, I've had some things happen to me within the last month that I'm not like ready to openly talk about yet for some reasons. Um, but it's really taken a toll on me more mentally and physically, unfortunately. So I'm just in a phase of trying to just get through each day. And the thing is, like, I encourage you guys to do these mental health checks each day so you can really check in with yourself to realize if something is off or if you need some extra pouring in certain areas or something, or if you just may need to ask for help. And me being an advocate for that, I thought that I was maintaining good. And I feel like a lot of times, especially for Black women, we are so used to putting on a happy face, even in the midst of so much chaos going on around us. And we're looked upon to be these strong individuals, right? And I felt like because I'm in therapy and my friends know what's going on with me. Like they know what happened to me and everything I've been going through. And I felt like that was enough. But again, sometimes like you really have to like hone into your body and listen to your body. And unfortunately, my body was sending me signals that I don't want to say I ignored, but I may have thought that they were something else. And my mental registration for me happened when I fell down the steps a couple weeks ago. And I really hurt myself. I really hurt myself, and I was like, okay, maybe something's not the best. Again, I've had things happen these last couple weeks. Um, Nonetheless, I want to encourage you guys to continue to check in with yourselves. Please find a safe space within your community, within your intimate friend circle, seek support outside of that, whether it's someone professional, a therapist, psychiatrist, life coach, just someone that you can continue or begin to confine in when things are going on. What I'm realizing more and more as I open up more in therapy and open up more with the people in my personal space is sometimes we may not know what something means, or we may not know how to respond to something, but when you have the right people around you, they can help you navigate things, not necessarily handle, your things for you, but may draw perspectives about what you may be dealing with and offer some type of insight that is really helpful. Because if I did not have my circle, I don't think that these last couple of weeks I would have been able to overcome the things that have taken place. So again, I know that was a lot, but I don't want to. I felt like I was going to sit here and I was going to be honest, but at the same time, I don't have it all in me, right? And yeah, I don't want anybody to continue to just cover up anything. And I promote mental health and I want to continue promoting it, and it needs to be taken serious. So I hope that you guys really, especially around this time with the holidays and stuff, going into a new year, find the time and space to really take for yourselves to make sure you're okay. Um, Again, I'm okay. I have the right people around me. I am safe. And I will also be off of work for a month. So the month of January, your girl will be out of work, paid. Okay, paid.
Okay.
Yes, to get myself together, and I'm so grateful for that. And I also was like recently talking to somebody else that was confiding in me about some stuff, and I was telling the person like, hey, you really should check your benefits at your job, because I did not know that my job offers, as and I've been on my job for like over 5 years, didn't know all the benefits that they offer and what each thing means. And like, I know a lot of people don't like to tell all their business, or, a lot of the times your job may offer programs and things where you don't actually have to talk to like your HR or your, department lead. And it means talking to whoever these other vendors and things are, whatever the case may be. Check and see if your job offers some type of support when it comes to like mental health or either even medical. Because what I'm able to do and go out, my job has so many different perks and things that I didn't know. I didn't know, and I'm grateful for that because I definitely needed during this time. So again, make sure you guys are taking care of yourself as we enter into 2024. And that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about wrapping up 2023 and just goals and things that we want to maybe work on or achieve going into the new year, and maybe some things that we can do along the way to actually do them, because I feel like all my friends have like these really proactive plans and things when it comes to stuff, but Jessica, I always be like, what, how you do this again, especially when it comes to like budget and stuff. Jessica is pretty good. So let's get into the conversation. um is there anything in that happened this year, or any lessons that you learned this year, whether it was like with yourself or just in general in your personal life?
Um, I can't really say it's anything I learned. I feel like if anything, maybe things were reinforced or maybe things came full circle. Because a lot of times you know what you know, but it doesn't mean that you're always acting upon it or acting accordingly. So I felt like for me, certain things kind of came full circle, or more so I just had realizations that made me have to put action behind those realizations. You know what I mean? Like it's only for but so long you can live in la la land or hope that things turn out one way where they are evidently going in another way. Definitely when it pertains to other people. You know, my big thing is accountability and controlling what you actually have the power to control. So, in a sense, I had to take a page from my own book as far as
Mm,
if Jessica says she wants XYZ, then the equation that she's following needs to lead to what she's trying to attain. You know what I mean? So I basically just had to get real with myself as far as different things I may have wanted to achieve, different relationships, and if they weren't serving me or simply leading to the outcome that I want, I have to make choices about that. You can't leave that in other people's hands. Because the reason, like, not that I was doing it for this reason, but a lot of times we stick in situations because we were waiting for somebody else to do something different. And it's like, I'm the only one who can really control what does and doesn't happen. And then you can't point
Mm.
the finger at somebody else at the end of the day when something doesn't go the way you want it to go. Regardless if you did or did not express that, because point blank period, how are you participating or adding to the situation, right? So I had to make some decisions in some relationships as far as, how I did or didn't participate. Um, and it was difficult, definitely when somebody or people be in your life for a really long time. It's not even that you necessarily think it's always going to be a certain way. You just hope for evolution, just like you personally evolve, relationships to evolve as well. And for me, it was happening, but just not on the level that I needed it to. So because of that, I just had to make some decisions for myself. And I've stuck by my decisions and I'm proud of myself for that because I feel like it's taken me a long time to really get to that point of being like, this is what it is, and I'm standing on it. I don't really like that phrase standing on business, but of course that's the hot phrase right now. So pretty much I'm standing on business right now, because at the end of the day, it's about my betterment. And I'm the only one that's in charge of that. So
Yeah, and I stand in agreement with everything you said, especially the part where you mentioned like you evolve as a person and you would, at least want other people around you to evolve. Like I like we don't think negative when it comes to people, right? Like we don't want or wish anything malicious to happen. So like why not evolve with us? But I think that was for me, like not necessarily this year, some of this year realizing that everyone can't come with you on your journey and your path is specifically for you. Like we are destined to walk whatever path that God puts us on, right? And we'll meet so many people along the way and we'll still have people that straggle, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to always be there. What's that saying, like some people are only in your life for a season or a reason. I'm still gradually but surely like unfolding all of that back because some relationships that I have lost, I'm just like, well, like still trying to figure out like the whys in it, you know. But needless to say, I think like you said, it's all for the betterment of you and like for like other people. So I'm glad you was able to get to that point, because it could be tough, especially if you're that person that literally just want to see everybody win and you're that person that everyone literally depends on for everything, whether it's like moral support or just always being there. Like, oh, I know I'm gonna call Jessica, she's there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that you've been standing on business 10 toes down in it. you know. Um, for me, oh man, I don't even know where to start. I don't even know where to start. I feel like this year was so I grew a lot. I grew a lot in this year, whether or not like I really believe that saying it or someone listening be like, nah, you couldn't have. I have. I had to make a huge decision in the beginning of the year when I had to move, and I still won't and haven't got in the deep depths of that, you know. Time serves a purpose for everything. But my move traumatized me more than what I thought it would. And I had to get to the point of letting go of what my life looked like prior to my move and everything that I had going on because I realized like if I didn't let go of what my life was and everything that I was never going to open myself up to experience something better, and it took a lot. Like Jess can tell you, like it really did took a lot. And I don't think I'm like I fully had gotten to that point even now I'm talking, because my move, I really felt like I lost some of my independence. I felt like I lost some of my womanhood. I felt like I was just stripped of everything that I had built myself up to be for so many years, and I will never pretend like I've always had it together. Like I'm just trying to navigate and figure out life like everyone else, right? But when you're pushed back into an environment or a setting that you work so hard to come out of for whatever reasons, it's just like, well, damn, did like what did I do all of this for? Especially if not by choice, you have people around you that say they want to see the best for you and they support you, but then their actions show elsewise, you know? And if you know me, you know I'm a person that like you can't talk me into believing anything. Like I have to see your physical actions, you know? So you can tell me you love me, but if your actions don't show you love me, I'ma just think you just saying it, you know? So
Hmm.
I really I really have had to work extra hard these last few months in just trying to maintain some type of mental stability and just being okay, and it has been so hard. It's been so hard, you know. I had so many like highs and lows, you know, and I mentioned some of those things when kicked off this season a month ago about how I had to go back in the office. That was still a whole nother mess of charades. Needless to say, I've just adapted to what it is. But in the midst of it, I just always have felt like whenever I have like a really good high moment, it's just like somebody comes and they just tears that down. And I know a lot of people probably can resonate with that. And it's just like, okay, I'm tired of tests. I don't want no more tests, no more quizzes, no more nothing. Like I just want to finally live and just not exist in this physical body. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this is gonna be like one of the most rawest conversations I ever had on this podcast.
Well,
Like,
I mean, hey, get it out for the new year, you know?
yeah, and I really I prayed about this. I was like, I know what I want to say, but I know what I also don't want to say. But I just it is what it is. This year has been some shit. Like if I'm being honest. And crazy thing is, you know, as I be on social media here and there, I've seen for a lot of people this was not their best year. And it's like a lot of people are still kind of like healing and trying to get back up after COVID, like
And
2020,
that's and that's
like
that's what I was thinking. It's almost like this is like the people building themselves back up or attempting to build themselves back up because I feel like the past few years have been so crazy. A lot of people were in survival mode, just doing what they had to do to stay afloat. And now that things have gotten back to some level of normalcy, and it's like, what is ever normal, right? But like not as
yeah.
crazy that like people are now struggling. Because going back to something you said about when you had to move and stuff like that, and I was just thinking like we never really talked about it from that aspect, kind of how you just described it. So it's almost like an identity crisis or identity loss, and I feel like a lot of people are kind of dealing with that right now because it's like you had a lot of people had to adjust in so many extreme ways or, you know, do other jobs or do this or do that. Where I feel like a lot of people are really trying to figure themselves and their lives back out.
Yeah, so like for me it uh, my biggest downfall these last few years since COVID and now has been grief. Like I've lost two precious people in my life. Two people that I define that have known like me in and out and have loved me unconditionally no matter what. Even if they didn't understand, they did not it didn't matter. I was their baby, their pride and joy. And now it's like I'm left on this earth. Y'all left me here with people that don't respect me, people that say they love me but don't show it. And I've gotten so used to being alone, and I felt like that for so long. But like I think this year I really like sucked in that feeling of loneliness. You know what I'm saying? And this is outside of what my friend circle offer, right? And this is outside of what the family members that do support me offer. It's just when y'all are not available, I only have myself, you know? And I've gotten also in a space where like I'm okay, with that to an extent, but it's like it gets lonely. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And I never looked at everything like the transition from 2022 into this year, me dealing with an identity crisis, but in a sense, maybe it was because I had to drop down a lot with my move. And I know people listening probably like, what the fuck is going, what happened? You know,
Right.
and like I promise y'all, I promise at some point soon it will make sense and I will be able to speak so much more on it. But I can't. I can't right now. Um it's just it's such a sticky situation, you know? And I feel like until you're actually fully out and safe physically, spiritually, all that, then it may be the proper time for people to speak on stuff. And for me, that's just what it is, you know. But I feel like me moving shifted so much with me. And I was just like, bro, I had a mental plan. Like, this was going to be happening. This was going to be happening. And I'm moving out of state. And none of that shit happened. Not only that, everything like that I worked myself up to be like who I was, like my inner strength, my confidence, all that got torn from me. And here I am back at scratch having to rebuild. And here I am handing all these pieces to all of y'all. Here's to giving it to my therapist and my friends, like, hey, here we go again. You know? So it was some heavy waters to really navigate. And I'm like, okay, I'm used to this, you know? And at the same time, it was like, I think besides my support, what kept me together was in the beginning, I was doing like my podcast, you know, like that gave me some solitude and some hope, and I enjoyed doing it. But then on the flip side, it was still difficult to really do it how I needed and wanted to, you know, and I don't know. It's just been very rocky. And that's not to say that this whole entire year was bad. I mean, it was some shit, but there were like a lot of high moments and there was a lot of things that I can look back and say I'm grateful for. But there's more things that happened that I do not understand. I don't understand. And I have questioned and I've questioned God. Yeah, I'm like, why? Like, why did this happen to me? Like, why did you make me endure this? Like, why? You know? And I feel like he expects us at times to question things and, you know, act a certain way. But I'm straggling the line with my faith a little bit. And here it is. You put me in this encounter and this has been stripped away from me, you know? So it's been very hard. It's been very difficult. And again, I like I said, I've seen people online and everyone's just like going through something. And it's just like, okay, well, at least I'm not the only one that had a like a like a weird type of year. You know what I'm saying? Just here's something else on my plate that I have to heal from. Here we go. Back at square one. You
That's
know?
some real shit.
Yeah. So, you know, and like last year, and I don't normally do this. Like I don't normally listen to like my old episodes back for whatever reason. Like I don't unless I'm like doing editing. But I listened today to the last episode I put out last year, like I was telling you, and I sounded like I had it together. Like I had a mental plan. Like I don't remember everything. I know I was dealing with a lot of health issues these last few years, and that stuff thankfully did not fully follow me into this year. You know, like I had the issue going on with my eyes, which update, I got the shit reversed today, actually, you know. But needless to say, like I felt like I was in a good space and like just ready for something more, something better, and ready to conquer whatever came my way. And I don't feel like I was prepared for anything that happened. You know, I don't feel like I was prepared. But I did not end 2022 on a bad note. Like I know I didn't. I did not walk into 20 this year in a bad space. And I don't want to leave this year going into next year in a bad space, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
You know? So it's like what do you do now, right? For anyone that's like in a space where they feel like this year just wasn't good to them, or there was like more lows than there were highs. Like, how do you cross the threshold of going into 2024 with a positive mindset that next year will not be the same thing?
Well, I would hope, like obviously everybody goes through different levels of things. So we just don't know how far back or far down some of these experiences can push people, you know what I mean? And I definitely pray for those people who just feel so defeated that they don't see a way up, they don't see the light. But I would hope if nothing else, the negatives of the year, and it doesn't mean that this year you weren't doing any and everything that you could possibly do, you know what I mean, to try to control your circumstances and your choices and your outlook and stuff like that. But, if you're somebody who at least has a little bit of hope reserved, or you still have those goals and those dreams or those things you want to accomplish and achieve, I hope that if nothing else, it's like, oh, hell no, it ain't no way in the world I'm going to experience the same thing next year that I went through this year. So I'm going to fight like hell to make sure things are different, or I get what it is I need and that I want. Because, like I said, so many of your circumstances didn't have anything to do with your own doing. You know what I mean? So, like, that's what really makes it suck. It's like no matter what it's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. It's like, come on
Mhm.
now, what else? What you gonna throw at me next? The kitchen sink? You know,
I hope not. Shit.
the bathtub? Like, it's it's like, but like if I don't know anything else, I know that not only are you a survivor, you're a fighter at the same time. So it's like, I hope you don't have another uphill battle, because that would just be cruel, and that's just not okay. But
But you know
I know that.
what? Not
Mhm.
You know what? Not to cut you off, because this came to mind earlier, and then you said it came to mind again. And I don't know if I'm like psyching myself out or jinxing myself for saying this. I don't think so, because this was in my spirit earlier. There is nothing that could happen to me or that anybody could say to me at this point that I feel like that can harm me, because it's already been done.
Mm.
Like that, I was feeling, I was get mentally today getting prepared for this episode, because like I said, I feel like sometimes we want to show up a certain way, right? I show up how I feel behind this mic all the time. Sometimes I gotta deep breathe a little bit more, just depending on how my day went. But I have not done this in a while. You know what I'm saying? And I just know what's been going on. And I was thinking that today, meditating and just, thinking about what the year has been and everything that's happened to me, specifically these last couple weeks. And I'm like, you know what? There is nothing else that can happen to me at this point that hasn't already happened, whether it was in the past or recently. And there's damn sure nothing that no one can say that can tear me down that has not been said to me, because it's been said, whether it was recently or in an earlier point in my life. Like, that
That's
is
actually
where my
very
mind is.
interesting. That's very interesting, because we this kind of goes back to a conversation you and me were just having the other day, maybe even earlier this week, if not last week, about, remember you were saying you want to get to a point where like things don't bother you or trigger you XYZ. So it's
Mhm,
almost like this is coming full circle,
mhm,
because some of us just naturally just have certain temperaments. Like, how I am, I'm very nonchalant. It doesn't mean that nothing bothers me, because that's not what nonchalance mean, but it takes a lot to really bother me or get under my skin, just because I don't like to give energy to things that really don't deserve the energy, or that in the long run won't matter. So like I feel like I almost kind of have a natural protection because of that. And of course, there's just certain things I just haven't been through. So it is what it is. But it's almost like, okay, it's like, yes, why do you have to go that route to get to that point? But at the same token, it's almost like an extreme version of stripping or shedding certain things away so that you can emerge completely free.
Hmm. And let me tell you something. Like, I think we all can agree that, like, we know for a fact that, like, just like snake skin with shedding in human form, that means people, okay, places, activities, things that
Mhm,
don't serve us any good. And I feel
mhm,
like when you have a strong attachment, especially to people, okay, whether they are friends or family, that's what make things a little bit more difficult, right? Even if they are the ones that have victimized you in some of the worst heinous, disgusting ways that you could think of, right? I'm gonna keep it together. I promise y'all.
okay.
um y- you don't like you find every way to try to figure out a better solution opposed to like fully walking away, fully shut, I don't, well, maybe if I just give them their space, or like maybe if I limited how much I do X, Y, and Z, then no. Mm-mm. I've gotten to the point where I realized the importance of fully just releasing things and people that don't. And remember we talked like a couple weeks ago about like what does it mean to like fully release,
Mhm,
like I feel like I get it. I get it. Again, strip me bare at this point because it ain't nothing else that can come, happen, or anything that I could lose at this point that I have not already lost. Whether it was my damn sanity, it was my womanhood, like whatever. Like at this point, I feel like I'm walking into 2024 a bare person. Like, not to say that I never have engaged in anything. I don't have any trauma or any experiences. I do, but that stuff don't matter no more. Like it does, but it don't hold no weight with me because everything else that just happened recently kind of like weighs more than that, if that makes sense.
mhm. Now, I was gonna say, just to add even another level onto everything you just said, definitely when you think about like kind of stripping your relationships with people and stuff like that, at the core, it's not even outright about the person. The deeper part of that is it's about thoughts, it's about ideas, it's about dreams, it's about desires. You know what I mean? Because that's all the stuff that we
Mhm.
attach to our relationships with people, expectations, you know? So
Mhm.
when it come down to it, that's really what you're releasing. Like, yes, this person, you have XYZ title, but what is the deeper meaning behind that title that that person has? With any title, we have expectations. So if it's a
Mhm.
significant other, we have certain expectations that we attach to that title, right? This person is supposed to treat me this way or communicate with me that way. When it's our parent or our siblings or, people that we would typically have a close relationship with, same thing. We have expectations of what those titles and relationships are supposed to mean. But and this is something that I've been getting deeper into, so this is one of my things for the year, is really seeing people for the people that they are. And I don't mean seeing them
Mhm.
for good or bad. I mean, people are people. So no matter what I want something to be or think it should or shouldn't be, or how I think somebody should deal with me, because you can't judge it based upon how you are with people because they're not you, you know? So
Mhm.
it's like I had to get outside of myself and see people as the people that they are. They got their own shit going on. They got their own traumas, their own thoughts, ideas, desires, all this stuff that just simply may not align with you. And it just is what it is. That's really been my motto for the year. I've been saying it a lot recently. It is what it is. And not in the sense that you just accept any and everything, because some things, it is what it is, but hell no. But
Mhm.
I mean, in the sense that some things you just don't have control in.
Mm.
It is what it is. So why am
Yeah.
I going to dig so tight into this thing that's not going to change? So now I'm holding myself hostage. It is what it
Mhm.
is, and let me go about
I,
my
and
business.
I and I think a lot of times, a lot of struggles and downfalls that people deal with are a result of what someone else did to them, right? Now, granted, it doesn't take away from like maybe you want a better paying job or you need to find housing or you're pregnant, whatever the case may be. But a lot of times something is influenced by another person, whether they said something to us, how they treated us, and we are just continuing to just live life holding on to those things despite what it was, that they did. And I know for a fact that's what I'm dealing with right now. You know what I'm saying? Which leads me to the point of feeling like I'm becoming more resilient in a form of, man, I don't even care moving forward. Like, I'm not, of course, going out there looking for something bad to happen, but like, bring it on at this point because, like, what is it? It can't tear me down any more than what I have already been. And I'm not saying I'm down there. Don't get it twisted. I'm at the middle point, my come up, But I'm saying, like, I feel like I I don't think I've ever thought to get to that point because I never thought that my life would be, of course, like what it has been. Not saying it's all been bad because it has not, right? But like you said a couple minutes ago, is the unfortunate things that have happened specifically this year, like with me, were due to nothing that I ever did, you know. And granted, I get my accountability from you, okay? So I'm gonna take the accountability for like things that I have done, said, and I also want people not to misconstrue like misplaced accountability because I think that is something that people do too, where we will take accountability in situations that we didn't necessarily play that major part in, but we're only taking it so it's like, oh, I can place the blame on me, which removes the blame from the other individual. No, 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 no,
But mainly because
no.
because you know or believe that person will never come to that place of accountability. So like in your mind, it's like, well, how else are we going to move forward? But you're truly not moving forward because the thing is going to happen again if that person can never take accountability or really see the situation for what it is.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like what I've learned to do now is to really reinforce boundaries, you know,
Mm,
and
girl.
somebody shout out to our good sis Abby because she told me today like you need to like continue to reinforce boundaries in certain areas with certain people or whatever because if you know me personally, like I see you for you. I really intend to see people for their heart, right? I really do, and that's just because I want people to see me for my heart and not for everything else. So I really don't try to place judgment. I'll hear you out, right? But being a person like that, people tend to misuse those relationships. And if you're not smart enough and you don't recognize the signs, it's like you just allow people to keep walking over you. I'm saying, like, do y'all realize how y'all treat people? How people just show up in like spaces like the internet or just in real life? Like, do y'all realize that everything that you say is not right and that's okay? That you don't have to agree with my opinion and we can disagree to agree and we don't have to like name call and just have misplaced blame and just what I'm saying? But I've just realized a lot of stuff lately, whether it was with people that I was associating with, whether it was the people in the podcasting around just the internet. I'm just like, okay, I'm more aware that you're doing this because you want a response from me. And baby, I'm not gonna give it to you. But I see it. I'll take note of it. I want to leave all that in 2023.
And that's
Let's
why
leave
for
it.
me, calmness is very important. Like I tell people all the time, like if y'all knew really what was going on in my brain, I probably done planned your whole murder,
Oh my
and I would get
God.
and I would get away with it. But it never shows through. Like I'm such in control of my
Allegedly.
pettiness that girl, I said what I said. Um, but I have such control over my pettiness because it's like I'll be damned if somebody is going to get that level of energy from me. Like, it doesn't mean I'm not going to respond or I'm not going to say something because, certain things just ain't going to slide. But the energy behind it for me is typically always going to be calm because you ain't taking me up here. You just not. So people don't be knowing how to read me because they just be like, I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know. You live and you learn. I have just been learning by by day. I feel like every day I really have learned something this year, whether it was a good day or it was a bad day. I've learned things about myself. I've learned things about other people, and moving into another year, I just really want to know how to just I not know how, but I really want to just get more in touch with myself than I have gotten this year. Cause baby, if I wasn't my one of my bestest friends this year, like we got sis, like 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 you because you have to be because
Yeah.
sometimes people are not going to answer the phone. You know, sometimes people are not going to answer the FaceTime. And what do you want to do? You
And
can't
you
count
have
yourself
to be
out.
able to trust yourself. You can't trust other people more than you trust yourself. It doesn't mean you always going to get it right, but other people ain't always
Mhm.
going to get it right either. So the faith that you put in other people, you have to be able to put into yourself.
Talk about it. Definitely. And I'm like, look, Key, we got to get it together. But again, I say all that to say, like, my whole year was not bad. It just, it was just certain things that took place that were just like, are we for real right now? And then my most recent incident, and then my me falling down the steps. I'm just like, God, what is next? Like, you know what I'm saying? Um, do you have any goals for 2024? Like, I know we don't really do like
But
resolution.
hold up. I want to say, let's not even go there just yet. Because
Uh-oh.
you've said multiple times that some good things happened this year. Let's talk about some of those good things. It can't just be all gloom, doom, and shambles.
That is
What's some
right.
of the good stuff?
People probably listening, like, y'all just hang in there with me. Y'all been rocking with me this
She keep
long.
talking about these good things. What were the good things?
Well, for one, let me go ahead and like light the candle real quick because bitch, we went to go see Beyonce, okay?
We sure
In Vegas.
did.
We was a part of the Renaissance, all right? And
And
I
Sin City.
yes, and I talked briefly about it on the open episode, and I was like, I know Jessica had fun, but I had fun. So now, how was your Renaissance experience?
I mean, it was great, with the exception of how cold it was in that damn stadium, because that was totally unexpected. So for anybody who does not know, Jessica does not do cold. And it's not one of them things where I just simply don't like cold. Like I really can't deal with cold because I have something called Raynaud's. Some of y'all might be familiar with that particular condition. So I was about to die. Um, I was a little naked a little bit, had to look cute for Beyonce.
Of
I had to go
course.
buy an expensive ass shirt just for the
Mhm,
sake of keeping warm. And mind you, it was like 90 something degrees outside. So the outside was not matching the inside. But
mm-mm.
despite that, it was a great experience. Of course, I'm glad I got to experience with my best friend and Virgo sister. Her and Beyonce had the
Mhm.
same birthday.
Okay.
And it was literally just a couple weeks before both of our birthdays. I'm September 1st, she's September 4th. So it was a nice little getaway, a nice little birthday treat. Me and Shakita have traveled together before, but we hadn't in a while. So,
Mhm.
it was good times. So I'm definitely glad we were able to make that trip. And
Yes.
we met some good people along the way.
Hey, shout out to Shantae from the good old Sipping with Shantae. She came again with her Cali and Texas crew. We it was fun.
They
Like
were a good time.
it was like every aspect of it, from like going to brunch and going to what was that one street we went down on Saturday night?
I want to
What
say Fairmount, but I really don't know if that's what it was
okay.
called. So I could be wrong.
Maybe it's that. That was fun, even though it was a whole bunch of stuff going on and happening around us. It was a lot of situations. But it was. The Vegas experience was fun. Renaissance, I can literally talk all day about it. It was just something. Like it's one of them things where you really had to be there to experience it. And if you went to go see the Beyonce movie, I love that for you. I truly do. But the show was something totally different. Like you literally felt the energy in the arena. Besides the fact that it was like -5 degrees in there, because And Jess wasn't lying. It was extremely freaking cold. And I was expecting for it to be hot because everyone had been saying that their arenas were hot, you know? No, ours was
But
like
that's
brick.
because we ended up in a closed arena that was able to, close the roof.
Yeah, and then they made me throw away my top to my water. And I was like real mad because like why am I going to sit here with an open bottle of water? But I found a way to cover it anyway. But it was just so weird because like the shows that I've been to like here in Baltimore and like DC, I've never had that happen. Like y'all took the top of my water. But and I wasn't even like we wasn't even close to the stage where I could have threw it. I would never throw anything up on this. I would throw myself on the stage before I throw up my bottle top. But otherwise, it was a blast. It was definitely a blast. And I have said this before to my friends, like personally, and I may have mentioned it on the show, but it helps if you're a person that like has experienced or deals with like mental health and like depression and severe PTSD and stuff, it really helps to have people around you that are like outside. And I mean that in the sense of my friends encourage me to always get out. Like I used to be outside. But I felt like, oh, I got older and life take a toll on you to a certain point, and I just try to find time to do things. Like my schedule is be all over the place. But they always remind me, like, girl, you gotta take some time off for yourself. Like, let's book these tickets, let's do this, let's do that. And that is one thing that I plan to do in 2024. Actually, 2024 will be my first international trip. Like, don't even ask where we
Okay.
going, okay? But we going somewhere. And that's my first, none of their first, but it will be my first international trip in 2024. So y'all gotta stay tuned for that because I don't know how that's going to
All
go.
right, y'all heard it here. It's out in the universe. Hold her accountable.
Yes, accountability. But yeah, so the Renaissance experience was definitely one of my highs of the year. Um, Another high for me was doing in-person meditation. I talk about meditation and mindfulness all the time, things that I practice, have been practicing for years, but I had never done it in person with people, especially since COVID happened. So this past summer, Janine started hosting in-person meditations. So I didn't bluff because normally I'd be bluffing with stuff. And I went to every one she had this summer. Yeah, since was it no, I think I missed one, like because the baby shower. But I went to most of them and it was a vibe. And it opened me up to a lot because I feel like once again, when you associate yourself with different people, you never know what someone can offer to you. You know what I'm saying? So that has it's not like nothing major, but it was a high point for me because it got me out my shell a whole lot. Just being around different people, meeting new people, and just meditating like around other people and just feeling like the energy and letting people like touch me because you know I'm a touchy feely person, but not always, so it just opened me up to a different part of my whole spiritual journey. What else happened? Oh, okay, so it didn't happen to me, but I've had in our inner circle some, we have babies in the family now,
Mhm.
people having babies and stuff. So actually I have two new babies in my family. And I feel like the individuals that had these babies are allowing me to be a part of their whole mommy journey for them, which is definitely healing to me, being that, I lost a child some years ago. And I actually disclosed to one of them the other day, like, I appreciate you for sharing this with me. Like, it's a weird feeling because I had my miscarriage some years ago. I want children, love children, but I've always been distant to certain aspects of that lifestyle, what if that's what you want to call it. But anyway, they had babies and I love babies and I love them and I'm happy for them. So that was another like high point in connection to me. Okay. What else? I can't think of nothing else right now. How about you? What else besides the Renaissance was I mean, we're gonna be here all night. talking about what
No,
so,
I don't got too much I don't got too much to say about the year just because I definitely do want to, move on to what we do want to do for next year. Cause it's, planning stuff is excitement for me. But anyway, 2023 was an intentional year as far as going to concerts. I love music. I'm an avid music enjoyer. Definitely classic stuff. So like classic hip hop and R&B and things of that nature. But I listen to a little bit of everything. So because of COVID, a lot of concerts weren't happening. So I guess 2023 was a year everybody wanted to have a damn concert. So I was lucky to be able to go to a lot of good concerts. What did I do this year? I did Janet Jackson. I did Masego. I did the Force tour with LL, Rakim, De La Soul, Queen Latifah, The Roots. I feel like I'm missing DJ Jazzy Jeff. I don't know
hmm
if I'm missing somebody or not. What else did I do? I did
the
Usher.
cruise.
So I went, whoa, oh, I ain't there yet. I did
Oh.
Usher. So I went
hmm
back to Vegas and saw Usher. And of course Beyonce. So I think I named five. I don't know. Am I missing something? I don't know. I went to five concerts this year. It was supposed to be six, but one of them I couldn't go to. Um, and then yes, I went on my first cruise, which was an interesting experience. Something I don't necessarily ever have to do again, but I'll try it again on a different cruise line and a shorter cruise. But I went for my cousin's 40th birthday. Shout out to Shannon Ramsey, who just dropped her album
Hey.
Manifest. Available on
hmm
all platforms. It is great. It will bless your life. It just dropped on Christmas.
Yes,
But
I've
we
been listening to
celebrated.
it every single day since then.
hmm so we celebrated her 40th birthday on a Caribbean cruise. So, you know, wasn't 100% my cup of tea, but I think it's just because it was a longer cruise for my first one. So typically you start off kind of small. I did a 7-day kind of right off the bat. And I
hmm
had sea legs for about a good month when I came back. When it's only
What's
supposed to
that?
last for like a week or two. It's like still feeling dizzy, like you're still on the boat.
Oh no. See, yeah,
So
I
but I think
can't.
for me, I could be prone to it because I already got like the migraines and stuff like that. So it could be possible I'm just prone to something like that. But nonetheless, it was a fun time. Lots of
Yeah.
laughs, randomness, because you know how my family do.
Yeah. But yes, you did a lot. Like you did a lot, and I'm glad you got to do all of those things, especially Beyonce, the Usher. I was like, girl, you didn't tell me Keisha Cole was there, but was you there when she was there? Keisha Cole, was she there your night?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Someone sent me like videos. They were like right in the front. I was like, oh my god, like I love Keisha, but next year, 2024. Okay, it's personal.
Okay.
It's personal. Oh, well, and then I kicked off my third season of freaking Chronicles of a Virgo podcast. Okay. That was
Woo!
a high because I took off 5.5 months. All right. And I was just to tell you, like, I was like so intentional about this season and everything. And I feel like this season has gotten off to a fabulous start. It really has. It has been everything that I have intended for it to be. Um, and it will continue to be wonderful. This will probably be the only episode that's gonna be like, but otherwise, I still have some great content coming out. So y'all stay with me. But again, 2024 is personal. So let's talk about it. What are we doing? What are these goals we're going to be doing? I know what my goals. I'm trying to move. I'm trying to get out of Maryland. And it's just been like taking a little bit longer. And that's why I say don't be like feeding into social media all the time because I be seeing people videos. Oh my God, I'm gonna people like, I'm gonna move tomorrow. And it's like you randomly just woke up this day and you gone. It ain't always that easy. You know what I'm saying? So that's like my main goal is to relocate. If I don't do nothing else next year, I'm going to relocate, but I'm going to do a lot of other stuff. But that's my main goal to relocate and to travel more. I don't have any like specific locations, although I do think I know where my birthday destination is. um, but yeah, just to travel more, to move, relocate, if I didn't already say that. Um, um, and I want to, it's like, it's some shows and stuff that people going on tour that I want to see. But I also just want to keep growing. I want to keep developing, keep healing, keep my podcast going. Actually, we will be coming into 2 years of Chronicles of Virgo podcast in about 2 weeks from now. So that is definitely a huge milestone being where I am now, getting to that point and just foreseeing what's to come. So what are you working on for next year?
So kind of piggybacking with my concerts, right? So I went ahead and pulled the trigger for Wu-Tang in Vegas, which is in
Mm-hmm.
March. I have no desire to go back to Vegas right now since I kind of did it back to back. And Vegas is one of those places where I don't need to go but so often, and I only need to be there but so many days. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not that I'm excited about Vegas, but I'm excited about Wu-Tang because I've been trying to see them for the
Mm-hmm.
past 2 years. So that's one thing I definitely have in the works. For me, travel is always big. I feel a little weird going into the year not having things really established travel because typically I walk into the year already having a few things kind of
Right.
pinpoint. You know what I mean? I'm the type of person where as if I like to do something major every season. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
damn, like I don't really get nothing planned yet. Like I know it's coming, but still, it's like I like to have something because I love to have stuff to look forward to. I like that
Mm-hmm.
anticipation and that excitement, but it's coming, like I said, Shaquille will be going out the country. So, that's our birthday time. So it's like, okay, I know I got something going on at that time, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Me, my cousin, and our best friend are trying to resume our annual girls trips. So that's something we kind of have in the works. So I definitely got some trips on some level. And for me, I like all trips, big or small. So I want to do some stuff nationally as well as international. You know me, I'm all about a good time, all about a good event. So of course I'm looking forward to any like local events that might come about or things that are kind of in the area to attend to. I love cultural stuff. So I want to do more stuff like that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I just love to be around my people. So whether it's my family, my friends. So it's like I look forward to having more time with the people that I love. That really feeds me. Like I'm not the type of person who has to be out all the time because like I think people assume that I'm out like that, and I'm really not. I actually really don't go out that often. It's just that I may post when I go out. I may look like I'm having the time of my life, but it's just because like if I'm gonna be out, I'm gonna have a good
Period.
time. But in general, I just love to be around the people that I love, no matter what we're doing. So I just want to be more intentional about spending time with my loved ones, no matter what we're doing. Um, I want to definitely stick more to my financial guidelines and goals. I feel like I was off to a good start this year as far as being very intentional about my savings and stuff like that. So I definitely just need to continue that walking into 2024 and really sticking with it because I'll find any reason to break it and buy something. If you know me, I like to shop.
Listen, this okay, that maybe that was another good point for me this year. I've saved so much money. Like I was like, well, and I am proud of myself. Like Christmas, I didn't have to tap into savings to buy anything. Like I'm not trying to brag and nothing like that, but like Jess said, I'm that person. I have been that person that like I'll have a overflow of money and be like, I need to spend this. Like it was bad. Like I was
Right. Like it can't just sit. It's just burning a hole in your pocket.
no,
Like
it can't sit. Like I need to spend it. But this year I did, and it's like sometimes I'll penny pinch or whatever. But this year I did really good. Like I saved up a very great amount of money so far to end this year. And I'm proud of that because like I said, like I will just spend or give. And don't get me wrong, like I have contributed to people of need for different things this year, but for some reason I've always found a way to put it back. You know what I'm saying? And just speaking of like the finances, I've been able to like really hit a mark with like my credit cards, a lot of different things, even in the midst of everything going on. I've been able to do like little things like that. And for me, that has been big because in the past, I may or may not have mismanaged things, in the past, like just years ago and stuff. So I'm proud of that. Like, I'm not starting the new year in debt. I can
Hey.
say that. I'm not starting in debt. So that's good. And that's you helped me with that too. Like, and I'm not the person to write stuff down when it comes to finances. Like, I kind of want it out of sight. Like, that may sound weird. I don't want to see it. Like, I don't want to fixate on amounts and prices and different things.
Mhm.
So like I do a mental calculation of stuff. I have a method that just has worked for me. And clearly this last year it worked, you know. So yeah, I'm happy about that.
Yeah, and I think, going back to what you were saying about boundaries and stuff like that, that's just something I also need to expound upon going into the new year. And to me, it's not even that outright people use me, because people only will do what you allow them to do at the end of the day. Doesn't mean
Mm.
that they can't be manipulative in certain ways, but at the same token, we be knowing better. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
to me, it's more so like, if I say something and I mean it, I need to stick by it. The thing about it is, people will try you, but then you end up breaking your own boundaries because you don't want to feel guilty, or you know what I mean? Whatever you want to attach to it. So it's like, how can I expect anybody else to respect the boundary if I'm breaking my own boundaries? So I definitely need to,
Mhm.
draw that line in the sand with certain things and things of that nature. And just boundaries with myself. It ain't even necessarily with other people. You break boundaries with yourself sometimes. Like stuff you say you won't do, or things you need to stick with, or plans you have, and then you just doing any and everything else that's like counter, all that stuff. So that's
Mhm.
not cool.
Yeah.
And
I love that for you.
oh, thank you. And I guess lastly, my main thing is maybe taking more leaps of faith. Um,
Ooh.
I
Okay.
feel like I'm the type of person who sleeps on myself. You know what I mean? Like, I know 100% what I'm capable of. Like, I can do any and everything. You know what I mean? If I truly, yeah, some things I'm just not interested in. Like, I feel like sometimes people try to push me to for a certain thing. I just don't have an interest in. And of course, I'm not going to go towards those things. But like, point blank, when you know it's time to move, move and apply that to whatever you need to apply that to. So I need to do that for me, as far as I'm meant for more, I'm meant for better, I'm meant for the best. So let me do what I need to do to elevate.
I just got chills. Ooh.
Okay.
Y'all see how God will put something in someone else to speak to you? Okay. No, you saying that, another thing for me moving forward is to get out of my own way.
Mhm.
And that have been like since my birthday, like, I've done a lot of healing. Like, I've done a lot. I dabbled into some shadow work and stuff, which is it's a daily thing. You just can't really start it and end it. Like, it's a daily transition. But really to get out of my own way, because I realized that a lot of times it is us holding us back, whether we're making excuses for why we can't do something. Things are always going to look uncomfortable and feel uncomfortable because we've never experienced and did it before. But that does not mean that it's not for us. That does not mean that it's not the route that we're not supposed to take. It just means we may just have to buckle down, okay, put our big girl panties on, our big boy boxers, and just really cipher through that, you know? And someone I'm so mad I can't think of who I was having this conversation with. They were saying like sometimes like how God works, not sometimes, how he works is he will tell you to do something and you don't have a plan. Quit your job. Okay, well, what's next? You have to pay attention to the signs around you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
you gotta go deep in your core to like figure out what's next. Not saying that those signs and things are not going to be provided along the way, but you got to open your eyes, all three of them, okay, and see things for what they really are. And when we really get out of our own way and stop manipulating ourselves into believing that everyone else is a causation of the problems in our life or the reason why we can't move forward, you know, we got to move. Like you said, like you have to really build up your belief system to know that you deserve better than what you've been receiving. And You can do any and everything as long as you get up and move. So I like
Exactly.
that leap of faith. That leap of faith. Leap of faith. That leap of faith. Like sometimes you have to just I did a video on TikTok a couple weeks ago with I was driving in the rain, fog, mess, and I snapped a picture of like the fog, and I wanted to turn around because I've never seen the visibility that bad. But I had to keep going because I was almost there. Like I knew I was almost there, but I couldn't see what was on the other side of this fog. But I had to trust that God was going to see me through, and I had to trust myself that I was going to drive safely through that mess. And I got to my destination. And that's how life is. We don't always see what's at the end of the tunnel. We can imagine what we want to see. Sometimes it can be 10 times better than what you're expecting, but if we never continue to go forward, how are we ever going to find out?
Exactly. Mhm.
Sometimes we put our trust in materialistic things or people that we don't even know more than we trust ourselves. Y'all trusting that all them face cleansing products and makeup is going to make you look pretty. Like you don't necessarily know that this stuff is going to actually work, but you're trusting that it will work. You know, you trusting that the people at McDonald's or Burger King is going to make your food properly and not do anything to it. You don't necessarily know that they're not going to drop your burger on the floor, but you're going to trust and pray that, they won't. And that same trust that we instill in these materialistic things and these items and people, we have to instill that in ourselves
Yeah.
and whatever your higher source is, and
But you
we'll
know
be
what's
on the way with
crazy?
that.
I think we do put our trust in it, and it goes with the same with like accepting responsibility and all that type of stuff. We put our trust in other things because if it fails, we can blame them.
Hmm.
We would rather blame something or someone else than ourselves. We can't take that. We can't handle that. But it's like it don't have to be that extreme. It's like unfortunately we be taking it to the extreme, like, oh, I messed up or da da da. It's like, okay, that moment is done. It's over. Let it go.
Hmm.
Move
Let it
forward.
go. Because and then, but even still, like if you put all the responsibility in someone else to do something or come through and they don't, you blame them, but then you also blame yourself because you trusted in them that much. You know what I'm saying? But we ain't ready for that conversation yet. You feel me? We ain't ready for that conversation yet. We go wait till 2024 and circle back
Okay.
around, spin the block. All right. Because I feel like I have gave everybody a lot, and people probably looking at the phones or whatever you're watching or listening, like, what just happened here? Well, my friends, we just did a whole review of 2023. Okay, I don't know what I'm gonna title this episode yet. I don't know. It'll come to me at some point. I feel like we touched on a lot, but the overall emphasis that I wanted and hope to dive into is that in life, things are going to not always go according to plan. And when that happens, it is okay to accept how you're feeling, whether you're feeling down and out, you're struggling mentally or whatever, and to not always think that you have to put on a pucker face and just go through it because you're expected to show up in these spaces being X, Y, and Z. Like life that's not realistic. It's not realistic at all. And we're human. And as you had just heard, my 2023, 2023 was definitely a human experience. And I felt every raft, every raft of it. Like I allowed myself to feel, I don't think I had a choice really, but I felt every raft of it. But at the same time, like I've been able to manage to get back up, and I'm going to power through 2024. And I really hope that for anyone that's listening that may feel like they're alone or they didn't have the best year or they didn't get to go to all the fancy shows that Jess did, just know that 2024 is going to be a breakthrough season for us all. I'm speaking in existence. I'm speaking it and yelling it to the top of my lungs. Okay, because we will not spin the block again in 2023 for nothing. For nothing. If you leave it here, okay, if you leave it here in 2023, we're not coming back for it. There's no coming back. We just gonna go forward, please, with everything. Period. So, with that being said, Josh, do you have any closing words for the benediction?
I can't. Yeah, I guess I got one thing. I feel like whatever life means to you, whatever living means to you, define it and try your best to do it. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. The next second is not guaranteed. And no, that doesn't mean blow your money or do impulsive things just for the sake of, because if tomorrow does come, you need to be prepared for it, right? But just try your best to live and enjoy, you know, just get what you can out of life. So that's pretty much all I got.
Yeah, take a day at a time. I feel like a lot of times we are racing against time that doesn't exist, or we're trying to outrun our past that is over and done with. Our experiences are what they were, they will be always be a part of us. And we don't give ourselves enough credit for the things that we have overcame, the things that we have rise out of, right? People have been, and I love y'all, I really do. People have been reminding me these last couple of weeks, you're a phoenix, you're rising. That was my theme for this season. Not only for myself, seeing myself as a phoenix and a rising, but my guests that have come on the show and that will come on that have transformational. Is that a word? Is that transformational? Yeah,
It's a word
transformational
right now.
tra- stories that they have overcome some things and they've turned their pain into power and they're
Transformative.
just transformative. Yes, transformative stories, and they are just evolving in life. But one thing that I take from each person is like nobody's path is great, no matter how people try to sugarcoat it and show it to you, social media, whatever. Everyone has dealt with something or is dealing with something, and some people are just not as vulnerable enough to talk about it, right? And honestly, I probably, oh gosh, when this episode come out, I'm gonna run and hide. I'm gonna I'm gonna run and hide. You guys can't find me. But no, overall, just take things a day at a time. And if you have been through something this year, like myself and many other people, don't guilt yourself into feeling like it was your fault. I will say that. Okay. Because that is a very hard and dark cycle to try to climb out of, especially by yourself, which is why I emphasize community and just finding support or going to therapy. And it's crazy because I have questioned God so much. And one thing is like, hey, why is it that I'm going through what I'm going through now, but so many people have been needing me, right? And I don't mean in the sense of like just like getting on your nerves needing you. You know what I'm saying? People that don't know what happened or what's happening. And in the midst of my own, I've somehow found some type of time and space to help people get in therapy in other states, have helped people just find other resources for like things that they need, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm like, okay, so this is my purpose. Like I know I'm stepping more into it. So I feel like I've also realized that sometimes your pain has a deeper meaning behind it. It may not make sense, right? It may not feel good, but it may have a deeper meaning. And just keep holding on. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Yes. So with that being said, we're going to wrap this up. What I will say is, like I said in the beginning, if you didn't catch it, I will be off. I will be on a hiatus for the whole month of October. October. I am so
Girl, we ain't going
messed up.
backwards.
Yes, I said we ain't spinning the block. No, Lord, we ain't going back. I'll be on a hiatus for the month of January from work, but even so in my personal life. So my social media presence will probably be slim to none. However, if you do need to reach me, you can DM me on any forms of social media, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. Please be patient with me in responses. I will be off of podcasting for a few weeks. So after this episode, I will not put out something for another few weeks just so I can gradually continue to get myself together and adjust back to Shakita. No, 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 not adjust back to Shakita. Step into Shakita. That was another realization I had recently is I feel like I've been trying to go back to who I used to be in a lot of different aspects, like, visualize who I was at this happy moment and what I had going on in my life. And I'm trying to relive and go to step into that. I'm not trying to step back into nothing. I need to step into back
Mm,
into something new. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of times, like we psych ourselves out like that. Like, oh, let's go back to those happy moments. Like, let's do those things that we were doing that was helping us lose weight or navigate life. And sometimes those things can't have a meaning or a place in where you're trying to go now. And for me,
yeah.
gotta keep going
They
forward.
aren't they
Okay.
aren't the current circumstances.
At all, at all. So yes, guys, I will be taking a few weeks off from posting podcasting, but when I do come back, it will be just in time for Chronicles of Virgo 2-year anniversary, and we will continue season 3 with some more wonderful guests and conversations. If you want to be a part of 2024, please reach out to me again, and I will touch bases with you. Um, I think that is oh, you know what? I will also probably post a few of the Ask Kita questions just, for some additional content rollout because I got a lot of questions. You guys deserve answers. Okay. So make sure you also tap in with me on YouTube. All right. We are, I think, at 115 subscribers strong. Okay. Shout out
Okay.
to everyone. I know, girl. It just came out of nowhere. Shout out to everyone that is subscribed to me on YouTube. But if you haven't, please go subscribe. And yeah, follow me on social media. All of my links will be in the description box. And I think that is it. Anything else, Jess?
No, just see y'all in the new year.
Yes. So, with that being said, make sure you guys continue to take care of each other and definitely take care of yourselves. And like Jess said, Happy New Year and see you guys in 2024. Peace
Bye.
out.